So Villa with another huge win against some people's top 4 favourites, Newcastle.
Yeah, very. I didn't see this Villa thing at all until you mentioned it last week, that they haven't lost a game in months or whatever's going on.
Yeah, obviously they were an important club when a former important player was a manager. But once he left and just some foreign guy,
boring.
It's out of the news. No one cares, and that's this perfect spot for an up and coming team. No pressure, no magnifying glass. But it also means that when you're winning, people still don't care.
Yeah.
Until it's April and you're like creeping up on top 4, and it's like, oh, wait a minute, is this team actually good? They beat Newcastle. 2-0 was, but it was much more 3-0. But which you can say, well, you're not too bad, but you wouldn't have called that before the game.
No,
and it was when you watch the game. I mean, it was a very convincing win.
Yes.
If you know what I mean.
I think they hit the post twice on top of the 3 goals.
Yeah, Ollie Watkins is having a really good season.
Do you want to know how good a season he's having? Do you know what the title? I was catching up on the highlights before the pod. Do you know what the title was for that game on the Sky Sports YouTube?
Oh, is this going to be a top 3 tops Sky Sports pun?
Not really. Ollie Watkins with another masterclass.
Oh yeah,
another one.
Good. Well, this puts him firmly in number 3 at the top scorer this season, behind Haaland and Kane, obviously. But other than that, he's been really, really good. He's been one of the best.
Yep.
The top 3, I'd say. Like I said, Emery was the butt of the joke because he was at Arsenal, an important club, and Villa were now important when Gerrard was their manager. But now it's the opposite. You got an unimportant manager, unimportant club. But what this manager is known for is knocking out English teams in the Europa League.
Yes, that's his.
This is his thing. He's a Europa League guy.
Yeah.
I got a prediction for the board.
Oh.
Aston Villa to win the Europa League in 2024.
That is a great prediction. Put it on the board.
They're going to do it. They're
Ring
going to
the
get the Europa League this year, obviously. And he's going to go all the way. He's going to win it because when you think about it, they're a Premier League side. He's a known manager. He'll get people in the summer. They're going to win the whole thing. I mean, put the house on it. Take all the money you won.
Yeah. You should be loaded by now.
If you follow my predictions exactly, you put all the money on Italy, all the money on Man City the year before to win the league, all the money on who was the team I said?
World Cup.
Argentina. So it's compounded 3 times by now.
You should have 4 houses nearly by now.
I know you've put all that into Arsenal winning the league this year, so I know it's probably in escrow at the moment, but
cash out.
Cash out now and put that money on Aston Villa to win the Europa League next year under Unai Emery.
Bing, 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 bing. Put it on the board.
No, honestly, that is nonsense. Nonsense. All nonsense.
They say many, many garbage things.
You don't know what you're going to get.
Melodrama upon melodrama!
This is a totally
Shameful, disgraceful piece of nonsense!
See was balls off it yesterday.
You'll learn a lot more if you listen rather than talk all
Plenty
the
of
time.
time, no problem.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to a No Nonsense podcast with Cathal and Will. Where are we, Will, on the squeaky bombometer time?
I mean, we're surely well into it now. We're squeaking up at this stage.
It's getting messy, though, all the time for some clubs. It's getting, a lot to clean. Oh, there's more here than I thought initially. I thought it was, I didn't think it was this bad, but I guess there's a lot of fires to put out down here.
It's messy bum time.
Yeah, messy bum time. Can I clean in time? I don't know. And what a great segue into Arsenal, who,
yeah.
as I heard in the pub on, when did they play? Sunday?
I think so, yeah.
I think it was Saturday night. I was in the pub. And I just heard these lads, I think they were watching a championship game actually on TV. I think they had money on it. They were very intently watching 2 teams I'd never heard of play. And I was like, all right. But they were talking after the game about Premier League, of course, And one lad loudly said in the pub, like, I'm telling you, Arsenal are going to shit the brick. And I was like,
shit the brick? Not a
I was like, first of all, not a saying. Not a phrase. He was fucking, shit the bed, shit a brick, but whatever.
Yeah, bricking it. He got his things mixed up.
But the sentiment was that Arsenal were going to lose the title race.
Yeah.
Bottle it, blow it. These kind of words. I thought this is fucking such bollocks that people can just say these things.
Yeah.
And the guy next to him said, "Well, they have a much harder run in, like."
Mm.
And he went, "Yeah, no, they do, absolutely."
So he doesn't even believe it himself.
Does he know what it means, or is he just like parroting things he hears people say?
Yeah,
it's like like that one. I remember Rachel Riley got in trouble for saying Tottenham did a total bottle job. That time they lost to Leicester, was it? I think
that sounds familiar. Yeah,
and people were like, "Whoa!" Like mainly because she's a woman. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
but also because it was like, "What? Like that's just like bullshit. You have to say it on TV. Bottle job. You can't say that we just did a bottle job." But like, I was actually watching the game on NBC. It was a stream, and I forget your man's name.
Not Drury.
No, it wasn't. This was the post-match analysis. Sorry, this was the post-match analysis after they'd lost, and they were discussing, the penalty and the miss, and all kinds of stuff. And but at some point, the producer said to the presenters here, "Okay, 90 seconds, wrap this up."
Yeah.
And the presenter then went, "Okay, right. So, final thoughts. Arsenal, have they blown it?" Because you need an ending. You need a one-word headline. Let's agree. One word, yes or no.
Arsenal,
like a
losers?
final thought.
Yes. No.
And your man was like, "No, I wouldn't say they've blown it. I mean, because like you're literally discussing this for like last maybe 3 or 4 minutes about the pros and cons, what did wrong, whose fault it was, and then you just go, so they've blown it, and they go, no, I don't think they've blown it. And the presenter goes, they've been on top all season. They've been on top all season. Like pushed them for this thing. The other guy jumps in and he's like, they've handed the advantage to Man City. And I was like, well, no, I didn't say that. Like they're trying to end the segment because they're like, we have ads, especially American TV. They have so many ads that they need to get on. So they're just like, end it, shut up, say something, say one thing.
Let's get a quote here.
No room for grey area, and that's the trouble with VAR as well. Like there is a lot of grey area, which is why it's such a worldwide sport. I think that you can discuss it, you can talk about it. It's like, we're all right, we're all, But when you try to go for the losers, winners, handball, not handball, it's really frustrating. But I mean, I think that's where it comes from. That people just have adopted these phrases from segmented TV shows where they have to have a headline, have to have a thing, and say, okay, what's the takeaway? What's all this talking being about? It's like, it's fun, I suppose. Like, no, not good enough. Too much money at stake. What's this all about?
It's been a while since we've had like a genuine, actual bottling. Like it's very rare that happens now. It's just that City are so good; they're very hard to beat now. Like Liverpool didn't bottle it in the last few years when they got 95 points or whatever.
No. I think like City obviously are very good. But I don't think Arsenal have actually been that much better than the other teams, Like, obviously they went 2-0 up, conceded, a mistake from Partey in the middle, and then a pretty clinical clinical finish, it was a penalty. But like, it was pretty, clinical from them to get up the pitch very quickly and in on goal.
And then they took over.
And then it was the penalty, and then just literally like we're saying, it's like, these big stadiums, like, an Olympic-sized stadium, it just doesn't have the same effect as Anfield. And then the very next week, they go to an Olympic-sized stadium, and it's like, the crowd is too much.
They're everywhere I look.
Again, I can almost see them from beyond the track, So that blew my theory out of the water that Anfield has magic power. Maybe this team is just like, not used to this kind of pressure. But I mean, like you look back on this game, obviously 2-2, they were looking for a late winner. Didn't happen. The last game against Liverpool, 2-2, late winner didn't happen. But 2-2 against Brentford. No, against Bournemouth, did happen. 2-2 against Aston Villa, last winner.
United as well,
United. So, like, what was that? 2/3 of the time, or well, not really, but like
a lot of the time they've managed.
They've found these late winners. Like, you're not going to get one every time. Like, you have to score 3 goals, in 5 or 6 games to win. Like, the odds are it's not going to happen. Like. The ones, and you say, oh, well, City would score loads of games. That's loads of goals. That's what they win. Like, they'll score 3 and 4 and then take the foot off the pedal.
Yeah.
I mean, but like in an actual competitive game, if you have to score 3, if you can't defend a 2-goal lead or a 1-goal lead, that's, real trouble. I mean, City obviously have a massive advantage financially, or whatever, and they've allegedly broken some rules all along the way.
That was ages ago. Now they're just reaping the rewards of the cheating. They're not cheating anymore.
But like Liverpool were like a match for them,
Yeah.
But I think back to like say when Chelsea first got the league, the first couple of leagues, like Man United were a very good team and they were a real challenge for them. And Arsenal were, back then it was only a few years since Arsenal won the league, so they were still a good side as well. So there was competitive teams at that top level, and how City won those titles was defense. Like they had phenomenal defensively, because you're just not going to outscore everybody every week. You need to have a strong defensive backline. I think Arsenal was so bad for so long defensively that Gabriel was like, wow, he's a revelation. It's like he's just not David Luiz or fucking one-legged Vermaelen or Koscielny or so like.
Well, we were saying before that Arsenal had been pretty, like apart from Jesus, very lucky injury-wise.
Yeah.
But now with Holding at the back instead of Saliba, it's such a difference. Like,
yeah. But like even Gabriel was going to get away with that penalty. Do you know?
Yeah.
Like he dove in there. The word panic is thrown like another kind of buzzword people say haven't ever been in that situation. But like you could see that
there was panic in his eyes.
There's panic in his eyes when he slid in there. Like it wasn't like he was about to strike the ball. He had the ball in the box and he went to ground. Like don't go to ground.
Yeah,
like
and it's a different. Like if that happens early in the season, he's probably like, it's all right, cool, calm, and collected. We keeper might save it. I might get the ball back. But here, I'm sure every chance is like, oh no, this is the one.
He's thinking, oh, remember last week? Oh no, what's happening again? Like definitely last week they concede 2 goals, and there's other games that you can give that example as well. It was definitely part of the team talk. It was like, right, lads,
don't do that again.
We get to half time, don't give away any. So when he sees Partey giving it away cheaply, he's like, oh, we were told not to do that.
Yeah. Why are you not listening?
I have to fix this. I have to fix this. Like when Van Dijk came in first, like he would just never do that. And then the stats after enough a sample size was taken, like the man never tackles, the man never slides in, the man never does anything. He just comes and he stands him up, gets in the way and goes.
His sheer aura.
He can't kick it past him. And like so much of the defending was like, if more people did that, and like of course he's fast to get in the right position, but just being in the right position is like most of defending.
Yeah.
It's not easy to read or, like, say, have the ability to get in the right position even if you can see it. But, like, the sliding in, it's just you're never going to get away with that.
No.
You can't do that. So, I mean, look, you can't keep relying on late winners. You need to be able to defend and hold on to the possession and not give away cheap possession. And if you do, don't fucking go crazy. But I think that is the definition of experience, though, isn't it? Like, it is a young side and that kind of thing where, like, listen, this isn't the end of the world. They're on the attack. Don't go sliding in. But the big one, I suppose, the big moment, the pivotal moment in the game that people talk about was Saka's missed penalty. That would have put it 3-1 up, and surely they wouldn't have conceded 2 more goals again, even though they conceded another goal in the game. But this is the thing, if you miss the penalty, it's like, oh, that was a big chance. You should score that one, son.
And it gets the other team's back up. It's like, oh, maybe it is our day.
Honestly, it's if you concede a chance that they should have scored, it feels like, oh fuck, that was very close to them scoring. But if they miss a penalty, it's like, oh,
the look is in.
Yeah, what I mean. It's the two opposites. It's a very similar chance, but this one's like it's a set piece kick, and you've kicked it wide rather than a chance. Like maybe that was just good pressure from us. This was they bought it. They don't want this today, So
I mean, you could see the switch.
Yeah.
When West Ham scored the first goal, it was just all of a sudden it was panic stations all over the pitch.
Yeah.
It was the best I've seen West Ham look all season, easily.
Yeah, I mean, I think last week they got beaten 5-1 by Newcastle.
Who got hammered this week by Aston Villa.
Makes no sense. And this is why, like, you say, Arsenal blown it. It's like, it just does ignore, like, all the variables, all the surrounding circumstances. Like, it's not like black and white where they lost Newcastle, so therefore you should beat them. Because Arsenal beat Aston Villa, who beat Newcastle. It's like, well, it's different weeks. It's different. Like, it's just...
Everyone in the league is very good. No one's bad in the Premier League.
No, you can see it. You know, when teams are on the beach, when they have nothing to play for, and they get hammered 4 or 5-0 by a team that they probably beat early in the season or like whatever. It's like, well, what's that? It's like, because they weren't 100% switched on, and every player there is so good. Like, obviously, the second goal came right after the penalty. But like that technique from Bowen, he was having like a dreadful season by his own standards from the season before. Like, you know, they all have that. Like, they might be able to do it every week. I mean, we'll talk about Sal later on, but like he had another unbelievable performance. Like, where was that last week, or you know, the week in between the Man United game? You know, like, but like, if you give them the chance, if they have the right momentum, right circumstances, they're unbelievable players. So yeah. Look, I mean, I can fight this battle that Arsenal haven't blown it, but it's unavoidable. People will say it, and you know, I mean, I guess there's some truth to it because they were ahead all season. But
it's funny as well because obviously so many people are like, "God, they blew it. They had it, and they blew it." But they were never claiming they were ever going to win it either. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's the same people who are like, they'll fuck that, or nah, they'll never win it. Like City will come good, or it's the same people.
They blew us. Yeah. It's you know, it's like we talked about this before. People like have been calling Messi and Ronaldo been finished for the last 5 to 6 years, probably.
At least since we started the podcast,
which feels like 5 or 6 years. No, but yeah, we'll say even like conservatively, we'll say for the last 2 years, people have been saying, "Oh yeah, no, Messi's finished. He's done. You know, he doesn't run anymore. He can't do it." And then you know, he still has something to offer that will get them to the World Cup, and he'll have a great game. That. So I mean, you know, it's just like people will say, "Oh, Arsenal aren't going to win," and then eventually they'll be right. You know, the odds are that you'll be right. Whereas like, if you were saying, "No, City are done. I just don't see it this year." All year, and then they eventually didn't win it. He's like, wow, I did not believe you, but there you go. But if you say Arsenal aren't going to win the league, you're not going to turn and go, "You're crazy, man. You're crazy." You know, it's like, yeah, well, probably not. So you can't then turn and go, "I told you I was right." It's like, no one said you're wrong. I mean, people were probably most in agreement, but yeah, it's hard to see it now. Look, the only positive is they didn't lose all 2 points. They got the one. So there's still a 4-point lead.
Which is still a lot.
All they have to do is go to City and get something. Okay?
Problem.
They're still fighting for this title, Will. Right? I just want to make that very clear without getting, you know, kind of frazzled and kind of seem like I'm losing my mind here. I just want to say very calmly that they're still in this, and all they have to do is go to City and win something and get something. Right? Which they will have to do. But a draw will do. That's all they need. Just draw against a team that beat them at home.
Yeah, no problem.
No problemo. Yeah, look, I think if you had to put money on it now, are you putting my money on Aston Villa to win the Europa League or over Arsenal to win this? But you can't change it now. You know, I gotta say, like, I still believe, but yeah, I don't know. What do you think, Will? What's your have they blown it? Yes or no?
quick. No,
we can say it all day actually. So there's no segment. You know, we can say it all you want. We can discuss this to the end.
No, it's clear the pressure is definitely on. But I think don't they have like the youngest squad or one of the youngest squads in the league?
Yeah.
So of course the pressure is going to be on. None of them have been in this scenario before, and especially in a league like it's one thing I'd say if the pressure hits City when they're on top because they're all expected to win. But it's a different level when it's like, you shouldn't be here. Something's going on. Like everyone else is also having a bad season the year you're flying it. This is like the golden chance. That's so much pressure. So it's only natural, I think, they're going to drop points. But they're still doing well. Like, again, they're not losing. There hasn't been a catastrophe.
No.
They played pretty well in both these games until it fell apart. But it's not like they came in and fucked it straight away. And they're not like arguing with each other in the pitch or anything. Like they're still in it.
That's a good point. To be fair, it's not like a complete like implosion and like everyone at each other's throats. And that's I haven't heard that as well. Actually, that's a good point. Like this was like, okay, this year they come close. Next year, you know, third, and then in the third year, it's the same squad. They're all a bit older. They've all been there. And then they were winning and they blow us. Like, okay, well, you know, you've been building towards this. This is 1 year, a bolt from the blue. Yeah. And it's like, you've blown it. It's like, nobody, except for me, who, you know, was predicting them to be anywhere close to this. I'd say if you go back through, and maybe I will go back to those pundits' top fours.
Oh,
you mightn't see many Arsenals in there.
Yeah, you won't see them above 4. I'd say ever.
Yeah, no one's saying they're finishing above Chelsea, which I mean, obviously that's no one saw it coming. Man United, everyone thought they'll push on.
Spurs, people love them.
Spurs, City, Liverpool, everyone thought because they were, Liverpool. I would say most people had Arsenal 6th, 5th or 6th.
Yeah, I agree.
They'll make a run in the Conference League. That's what we were saying. Yeah. So, look, I'm rambling about them blowing it. Okay, they haven't blown it. It's not over. But yeah, it's frustrating. When I just heard them they're going to shit the bed. I'm like, fuck off, man. Like, when have you ever give me 3 examples of you holding your composure ever in your fucking life? You're in a pub here with me, so fucking hot shot yourself.
I mean, it'd be like if the year Leicester won the league, if they hadn't won it, people would be like, Leicester blew it. Like, no, they didn't.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be like there was no chance of them being here a few months ago.
I mean, that's fair, but I do remember a couple of episodes where we laughed at the comparison of little old Arsenal and little old Leicester. It's like, I mean, I guess Arsenal do a bit more, like, but still, I take your point. Look, I think we've made the point. People probably, the drop off rate is increasing. I'd say the more we go with this.
skip 30 seconds.
Well, speaking of what we mentioned there, unexpected seasons, Liverpool.
Yeah.
Another conundrum. Are they good? Are they not? Are they really, really good? Who knows? Is it Klopp's fault? I tell you, every time they have a big win at this, it's like, hang on. If they can do that more than once, whose fault is this? Because the players aren't shit, obviously. The players are bad, I mean, listen, I was listening to the Newcastle podcast. I've heard that all the players are good. Okay, I know that much, but these players seem really good.
Yeah. It's a weird one because it does feel like it's like peaks and valleys where it goes like down, terrible result. You lose to Bournemouth and then it comes back. Klopp has a bit of a rant and you smash a team and then it goes back down. It's not sustainable at all.
No.
I've seen a few people. I saw Jamie Carragher saying that Trent is the best creator in the league beside Kevin De Bruyne. It's like, no, he hasn't been this season. Like, you're basing it on this mad game against a team who lost like 5-1 2 weeks ago. You gotta look at it in more than just one game at a time.
Yeah, look, that's the pundit's job. You gotta hype it up when it's good. But I think I heard some of this before, that like a good manager's like a good minister of finance. That when times are good, you gotta, okay, let's not get ahead of ourselves here, folks. Let's save some of your money. Don't fucking spend it all now. You might need that later. And then when times are bad, it's like, spend, everybody. You know what? You only live once, and you got to get the economy going. You got to balance it and keep it at the right level. It was like Jimmy Carragher is just, he knows what he's doing.
Yeah,
he's entertaining. He's an entertainer. Like pundits nowadays, like they are entertainers. They have podcasts like us for like deep tactical statistical analysis. They want the pundits to entertain them in the ad breaks. Before after halftime, their halftime show. So
before they get to the main event of us.
Exactly. They'll listen to the cold hard facts on a Monday morning, Tuesday morning with us, with their coffee, when they're focused. But when they're watching the game, who's watching the game? Liverpool fans. What they want to hear. That Liverpool's great. Who do they love? Trent. Trent is great. It's a simple format. Carragher, if he wants to get into the nitty gritty, he'd become a podcaster or become a manager. Right?
Yeah.
And he's not. He's a pundit. He's a clown. Yeah, no, I do think that he likes to get carried away, and I think a bit of it is shtick, a bit of it is kind of like
probably.
But apparently, he was playing more centrally this game.
Yes, he was pushed in.
He was doing the Cancelo or Zinchenko, I guess, at City kind of role. Like, and look, like say, you can do that against Leeds, but
exactly.
If you have Rashford down that wing unmarked. Or maybe Kanate will mark Rashford and, by course, I don't know. It's just one of those things. Against a bad team, it's grand. But unless you're City and you also have Kevin De Bruyne and Fernandinho in the middle to like just dominate that position, like this is how fucking City lost to Real Madrid because they didn't dominate against Kroos and fucking Vinicius was flying on that wing.
Yeah.
I know the second game then he did the same thing against Walker and said, okay, well, don't do that. Let's try and mark him. And he did anyway. So I'm not saying that that's the only reason. But, it works to a point, and with Liverpool are frail in the middle. I don't know how well it'll work, but
yeah, it's been a tough week for them before that as well, because I think the club weirdly came out and said, "We're not in for Jude Bellingham. Shut up about him," which is very odd negotiation tactics. Not just for, obviously, if they're out of that race, grand.
yeah,
But you don't want to tell the other teams you're trying to sign players from that you're not in for the star player.
Yeah.
Like, why would you do that? But that was a tough one, because I think that was one Liverpool fans were kind of pinning their hopes on. Like, all right, I'll take Milner one more year, but Jude's coming in, isn't he? And then for them to say, no, we don't care.
we can't afford that. No.
Yeah, you mental.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the things. If you hear Liverpool in for Jude Bellingham, and then Liverpool are now calling you looking for your midfielder, you go, well, what about Jude Bellingham? Like the bag.
You had 100 million set aside, didn't you?
What about the war chest I read about?
Yeah.
Like as soon as you ask, they're going to know. So you're not really keep ending from them, like thinking that, oh no, we're safe. Maybe you sign up your midfielder then, I don't know, but I mean, I think it's much of muchness. If you have a really good midfielder and you want to keep him, you're signing them because Liverpool are interested, Man United are interested, everyone's interested. So you either keep them or you're not. But yeah, I think maybe for the fans, maybe for the fans' sake, like I don't want to string you along, lads. Let's be honest, we're not getting Jude Bellingham.
Deal with it.
Yeah, just make your peace with that now. It's going to be a long summer, believe you me.
You're going to get really angry again in August, we know, but we're telling you now. We're not joking.
To ease the pain, maybe just mentally get around it now.
Yeah.
But no, look, 6-1. Again, if it wasn't so competitive at that kind of area of the table with Aston Villa, Newcastle, Brighton, it might be a big win for them. Like I say, if they go on a run now, this is the time to do it. This is the only time left to do it.
There's like 7 games left.
It has to be a
it has to be now.
7-game win streak. It has to be. And then at that point, I think you still have to hope someone else loses, don't you?
Yeah. Well, sure. Like Villa have won 5 in a row. Newcastle had won 5 in a row before this game. So everyone's winning a lot. Everyone's on their runs at the moment.
Yeah. Maybe this is the time to get in. Maybe their runs will end. Liverpool's will begin. God knows. Salah had another great game. Jota also played quite well. First goal in the year for him.
Yeah.
Kanate was the one, I suppose, that's at fault for the Leeds goal. He did the same thing against Real Madrid.
Yes.
Which leads you to believe, well, it's not about that Real Madrid are so good. It means that there's something that's a him problem.
Yes.
Again, both Leeds you're hammering, and then Real Madrid who are dominating you. It's something up here. The concentration isn't quite there, or the decision making isn't quite there. Maybe, I don't know. But
this is the thing as well, is that look, it didn't matter in that game because you won 6-1 against Leeds. But I mean, if you're playing at Chelsea, or not at Chelsea, or City, say, there's going to be a lot more of those mistakes because they're going to be getting punished for them, and it's going to be a lot harder to score against the other teams. Leeds have been conceding a lot. Meslier has conceded his last 11 shots. I think there was 9 goals or 10 goals in the last 3 games. So you can hammer these teams, but you should be getting a clean sheet against Leeds. It seems harsh when you're winning by 6 goals, but
yeah, no, listen, I'm just glad that Trent did get a clean sheet on top of his 2 assists, to be honest, for fancy reasons. But look, red flag straight away for Canada. Tell you what it is. Who did he play for last?
Who did he play for last?
German team.
The big one?
No, the one that gets beaten in the Champions League every year.
Oh, RB.
RB Leipzig. And where did he not go? Bayern Munich.
Yes, they saw him. They said, not for us.
If he was any good. Name me another player who used to play for Leipzig and didn't go to Bayern Munich, went somewhere else.
Werner.
I'm telling you, man.
Yeah, they're good. They know their stuff.
If your club signs a Leipzig player, be worried, okay? Because they should be going to Bayern. If they're not, there's something, they've seen something that you haven't seen, on
they've
paper.
Actually been watching all the matches. They haven't seen the goals or the clean sheets.
They actually watch the German league.
Here's a question for you. Is there more hammerings than ever now in football? Or does it just feel like that? It feels like every week there's a 5-1 or a 6-1 or a 7-1, which I don't remember that happening a lot back in the day.
What, you mean the 1962 Boxing Day?
No,
fixture
my
list?
day.
Oh, sorry.
My day.
Well, what's
10
your day?
years
Will?
ago.
10 years ago. I don't know. I think a lot of them just, you get like, we won't remember this game in 2 years' time.
Yeah, that's the thing, I suppose.
I think there's been as many of them. I mean, I don't remember, honestly, but I remember hearing about Jermaine Defoe scoring 8 goals against Wigan.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
Shouldn't that have been like a watershed moment? Like, something is wrong with football. The disparity between the
We need
teams.
to change the rules.
So I don't know. Maybe it is. It could be an interesting stat for a more stats based podcast.
I'll wait till someone else puts it on Twitter.
This is more of a no nonsense podcast. I would say,
yeah.
if I had to describe it in like a phrase, I would say no nonsense. So, are Liverpool back? Yes or no?
No is my answer to that.
Okay, moving on.
This is a good system.
This is how I envisioned the pod going, to be honest, when we first started. No stats, no research, no work, just money and opinions.
Yeah.
What else would you have, actually? Chelsea. Chelsea, a team definitely who are not back, despite us titling with episodes that they were back. That was when Graham Potter was there. I still believed in Graham, or as Graham, as probably Todd Boehly called him.
Yeah, definitely.
Annoyingly to his face.
Graham Potter.
Graham Potter. This guy sucks.
I do have to say, I think Todd Boehly is my favourite man in football right now. More than any player, more than any manager. He's insane. He's an insane man.
Yeah, it's... you see a lot of stuff about America and Americans. I know we have a few Yanks listening. So I know we have some Yank fans, some septic tanks, as we call you over here, just in case you aren't sure. If you ever visit and someone says a septic tank behind your back, they're talking about you. Top tip there. But no, you do see a lot of stuff in media and movies and think, yeah, but like, it's a big fucking place. They're not all like loud, arrogant, kind of guys. But like, he is exactly what I would have thought that, say, John Henry would have been like, or
yes,
I think, and that's the thing. You see other like very, cerebral, serious businessmen like John Henry go, yeah, he's never been in Dunkin' Donuts in his life,
Yeah.
unless it's been for like a business deal, but like he's just like any kind of successful man anywhere in the world. But Todd Boehly is like, really American, if that makes sense. He's
like a stereotypical billionaire American guy,
and like just like powers through things, and it doesn't have to even make sense. I mean,
throws money at it.
The main example being letting Tuchel spend 200 million and then sack him. It's like, that doesn't make any sense, Todd. And I'm sure his response was, "My club, my rules."
Hey, shut up.
Yeah. Under my roof, I guess that's more of like a dad thing. But you know what I mean? This kind of just I'm right. Why? Because I'm the richest guy here, so that's all that matters. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, it kind of got breezed past as the months have gone by. But they spent 600 million quid this year on players, just players.
Yeah.
That was never going to work. That is like, what is the plan? Like, how much money does he have?
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's kind of the representative, isn't he?
He's the face of
Clearwater,
it, and he enjoys being the face of it, I think.
There's some kind of Saudi part ownership of Clearwater as well. So there is a lot of money floating around Clearwater, we'll say. But yeah, like this kind of thing, he likes, walking around talking absolute bollocks and being
making
the boss.
Predictions about the games is one of the maddest. Hey, we're going to win 3-0 tonight against Real Madrid. It's like, well, don't say that. That's a lot of pressure on your players.
Yeah, I mean, he hasn't watched Real Madrid in the last 5 years. He definitely hasn't. You know what I mean? So to come out and just say that, it's like, you're just obnoxiously wrong. You know what I mean? It's like, what was the other one? It was, at the start when you talk about the All-Star game, he was at some like kind of TED Talk
conference. Billionaire conference, yeah.
Billionaire Gobshite conference. And he was talking about how Chelsea had produced players like Mason Mount and different players, and he just threw in and Mohamed Salah and Kevin De Bruyne. It's like, 100% you didn't. Like, no, you absolutely didn't. You used to own those players when they were younger players. But like, he says these things, everyone makes fun of him. He ignores this, keeps on trucking.
Yeah.
This is what I think of as like an obnoxious American. and that is Todd Boehly, just like the All-Star game and this will fund the pyramid. It's like, that's how the pyramid works. Like, it's just comes in, knows nothing about it. It's completely wrong. And then, brings Frank back in under the advice of fucking
James Corden, which I've seen that in more places since, so I think that was real.
It's been collaborated by, actual sources of news. So, like this kind of stuff, he acts like a buffoon, all the time. They lose another game after the man he put in charge has not won a game. Yes. It's like, why is this working?
I don't think, what is the last game Frank Lampard won? It must have been months ago. Because he lost a string at Everton before he was gone.
He has a 100% losing record at Chelsea thus far.
Oh, he'll find that hard to turn around, I think.
Have you looked at their fixtures?
Yeah, they're impossible.
He may not win a game. He may lose every single game as his second stint as Chelsea manager.
That would be some stint at Chelsea to relegate them. 600 million spent and relegated would be incredible.
Yeah, that would be that might actually be a watershed moment that this has gone too far.
Yes.
I don't think so, but
no, surely not. Surely the players they have will figure it out.
But I'm getting a bit sidetracked here. I'm just trying to think of a very stupid thing Todd did because
there's a lot.
Something he did this week, or at the weekend after the loss, was he went into the dressing room after the game and shared his thoughts on something that
he's no idea. He clearly has no idea about it.
2 years ago, he probably never thought about in his life. Probably never even cared about it. Which is grand. Like, I mean, it's you ever see that scene in Moneyball? Brad Pitt goes in as the owner to the dressing room, and you think, oh, this is going to be like a Brad Pitt Oscar-winning scene where he's going to have this like speech, like any given Sunday, and he goes in and he just says like, so great game out there, guys, and all right, because he doesn't do speeches. Like that's what would happen, because like the owner gets like, oh, great win, he gets a bit of rushed blood to the head, and then he goes in to do a speech, and it's like just completely uninspiring, and you go, all right, well, I guess he's the owner, so he can do what he wants, Todd goes in and think he's going to do one of those, going to give like a terrible speech. Everyone's going to be like waiting for it to end so they can just go back on the bus. But no, he decided to point fingers, name names.
I believe he said the players have been embarrassing lately.
Yeah, to him, to Todd.
Yeah, you're embarrassing me. The man this club is all about.
Most importantly, you've embarrassed me, the owner. Like if you're, and he named a player. Now it wasn't named after; it hasn't come out yet, but it will eventually.
He pointed a finger.
He pointed a finger at a player who's bought in the last 12 months for over 100 million.
Yeah, so
I think
there's so many.
Or
Enzo Fernandez, I assume.
Enzo Fernandez was Mudryk bought for 100 million.
It felt like it. I don't know if it was 100 though, but I think it
$100 million, perhaps.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know if it was 100 million, but it was somebody who was a big money signing in the last 12 months. So that could be anybody. It could be anybody from Mudryk, Sterling, Cucurella.
Yeah.
But just, like...
Don't do that.
You've lost the game.
It's not your place.
You've lost the game. You've been losing all season. Like I was saying, you're trying to find a way to PSG somehow. You've tied into this long, long contract thinking, fuck, I've really fucked this up here now.
I'm here for the next 8 years.
You've seen Tuchel go, then Graham Potter comes in. You're sure about him. Now see Frank Lampard come in. You all know about him. Jesus, like this guy's coming in. He's a terrible manager. And then the guy who's overseen this mess while you've been here has come in and said, you are the problem. Not me, the idiot owner, or this guy, the incompetent manager, or the other managers I've sacked, or all the money I've spent. You have ruined this for everybody. Like, you'll be in disbelief, just sitting like, I can't believe this is happening. I can't believe this American guy who doesn't care about the sport, is only mad because he's losing money, is blaming me for this.
It's funny because he is like Rob McElhenney and Ryan Reynolds are doing the exact same thing at Wrexham.
Yeah.
But they're doing everything right. They really they learn to love the sport.
Yeah.
They're not just pumping money in. They're at every game. They're in it, and they're open about not really being knowledgeable about it. Todd is doing none of those things.
No.
He's going to the games at least, but while there, he's pointing fingers and giving out, this is embarrassing and I want to change this stupid sport.
Yeah. Why can't it be more like things that I like?
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Why didn't he buy a fucking baseball team? Or does he have one already, probably?
maybe he has already. But this is the thing, that's the difference between like a multimillionaire actor whose job it is to be liked. Well, not half his job is to be liked, by the public. And then a billionaire who just different stratosphere, doesn't have to like anybody, doesn't have to talk to anybody. He things are always changed to his will, So it's just that's it's not about being American. I know I keep saying American, but it's not about being that. I think it's just billionaire who in a different country who usually gets his own way, and it's so he's got no finesse, he's got no social skills. It seems like sometimes,
and I don't like. I'm sure eventually he'll figure it out, and he'll just hire the right people, and he'll take a step back. That's usually how it goes, and they figure it out. Yeah. But I mean, if he keeps putting his nose in and sacking people and spending crazy money, it's a very slippery slope. Like they won't get relegated this year, I assume. But it's very quickly these things happen where the players give up and things just are fucked beyond belief, and you can't sell these lads anymore, and they don't like the manager. Yeah, like, things go wrong so quickly in football.
And we've seen it obviously at different clubs all the time where there's a guy in who's maybe not doing the best, and people in the background are maybe happy for him to take the fall, and they're like kind of setting him up almost, and then once he goes, okay, now we can actually run the club again. We just wanted to get him out. But you can't forget how all this happened with the Bramwich being, exiled, and like the sanctions, the entire staff leaving, like, the background staff, the higher ups, the entire overhaul of, a multi-billion euro company that is Chelsea. Like, if you were to see that in any other industry, like, they would struggle as well. Like, it's just a big deal that, like, there's been a big takeover and they're really struggling. Like, it's not a good sign at all for Chelsea. So the money's there for now, but we'll see how long you're happy to pump money into something that, like, structurally isn't right.
And, like, what happens when FFP kicks in? Because I know it's a bit of a joke, but it does apply. Like, you still need to skirt it. When I don't think they've set up the ways to skirt it yet at Chelsea. Like, eventually you can't sign any more players because you've spent too much already. Yeah. You're stuck with all these fellas who aren't performing. Yeah, it's a slippery slope. Really, in a takeover like that, you need the best of the best from top to bottom to oversee this, which is not what they've done. They just hired all of Brighton staff.
Yeah. No, you'd wonder where it's all going to end for this Chelsea team, because, like I say, it's not just like every other club where you see it. Oh, it's happened before. They'll be back. No, I honestly thought they would. I thought, no, look, they're fine. They'll come back. They have enough players, but it's just stuff like this where it's like, that's not what you do to try and get every back on side. You go into the dressing room and say, you did this.
And after, I would say, not a particularly embarrassing loss, Brighton are good, and Brighton played well, and they scored a wonder goal for one.
Yeah.
So, like, if you're going to be pointing fingers, I don't think this is the game to be doing it, because they gave it a good go this week.
No, it doesn't hold, and it just doesn't hold any weight, because it's like we've had embarrassing games. Like, I know that, but you don't know that because you've called this embarrassing, which that isn't bad. So I mean, you lose complete. I mean, if you were a player now, top player, and Chelsea came in offering all the money in the world, like, you'd be like, I don't know, is there anybody else offering the same money? Maybe. Like, it wouldn't be your first choice,
No,
even with the money.
Slightly less crazy rich clubs I could go to? A PSG, maybe?
Yeah. Well, it doesn't get any easier for them. They play, actually, breaking news of the past, Will. Champions League is on, and I've been hearing the group chat beeping like mad in the background, so I'm assuming something has happened. Hang on.
Watch Chelsea will be 4 goals up now.
That would be really... I'd love that. I would just love that. It's 0-0. 0-0.
Few close calls.
False alarm for breaking to the past. It's also 0-0 in Napoli and AC Milan. But you know, well, enough with that, because we will cover that in the Patreon.
You nearly got it for free.
You nearly did. This week, we definitely will do it. We definitely will do it.
We've had a mad few weeks of real life.
I'm going to be honest. I took my eye off the ball a bit. Personal shit. We have an episode recorded, just hasn't gone up yet.
It'll go up
but
tomorrow.
This week, you sign up. This is a great week to sign up, Will. You're going to get 3 extra episodes.
Boosh. 3 in a week.
2 after nonsense.
Bang.
and a Champions League episode which we record. I think we should do it like right after the game. Are you free Wednesday even?
I believe so.
Well, I think we should do it then because we leave till Thursday, Friday. Like,
then it slips. It's gone now.
It's gone. Yeah, we got to do it straight away. But this week we will. We owe to the fans. We owe to the subscribers, which are growing by numbers, which is nice to see.
We have some people who we don't know subscribing now.
Yes.
Who we've never even seen before, which is mad.
If you are still subscribing to the Buzzsprout, do not do that. We thought we took that down, so I'm not sure how you've managed that.
Yeah, someone has though.
But you will not see anything new on that. And all the old stuff on Buzzsprout is on Patreon. So,
but have no fear. Sign up to the Patreon and we'll refund your first month. No, so you won't be charged.
Yeah. But I shouldn't even mention Buzzsprout. It was one person on the Buzzsprout. I mean, thank you, first of all, for the thought. But you're in the wrong spot. Anybody wants to sign up for an extra football episode, an extra After Nonsense episode, which is a non-football episode, just us kind of shooting the shit.
Relaxing.
www.
Yes.
Sorry. / http :/Patreon /Nonsense Podcast.
Yeah, patreon.com
/ sign up.
Nonsense Pod. No sign up.
/ add credit card details.
If you go into the description in this episode, it's there. You just click sign up there. It'll bring you right there.
I can't remember last time I actually inputted a website.
No, very, very rare.
I will type in like, POR and then
and
it'll bring me straight there, whatever I'm going to, I'll type in the first random example. But yeah, that's all waiting for you, folks. Patreon.com / Nonsense Podcast.
And here's a little clip of After the Nonsense. Yeah, I'm looking forward to coming and get huge.
We will. Let's be our summer. We got the braces off. Imagine that.
Us on Love Island.
No one's ever seen us before. They've heard hours of us speak, and then we come and we're like absolutely jacked with perfect teeth. I'm like, what the fuck?
That's not what I expected from the podcast.
I really was picturing guys who'd never done anything in their lives. Like they said they hadn't.
What's going on with your hairline, boys?
No hair, shining teeth, massive muscles. We're ready to be stars.
Wow.
Amazing.
Those guys sound great.
Yeah. Which do you prefer, the main pod or After the Nonsense?
I think they both have really good points, I take them both on their merits, different moods of the day. I'm not the same every day, I like different things for different days.
Very political.
Yeah. Honestly, I would listen to both if I could.
Yes. Yeah, there's the answer.
I'm jealous of the fans that they get to listen to my voice. I have to hear it in my head all the time.
I've already heard this as I don't get to listen as a fan.
Oh, I remember the first time I heard that joke. Oh, I envy those who haven't heard it yet. That's what I'm thinking right now. What did we have then, Will? We had some drama from across the water, did we?
The La Liga, not even the La Liga, Barcelona and Real Madrid, they never failed to give us an outro to an episode.
That's true too. Yeah, we've had a lot of outros and intros that have been Spanish-based, I would say. I mean, this year, Real Madrid are continuing their domination of the Champions League.
Yeah.
It must be the best ever Real Madrid era because it's gone on 10 years now.
Yeah.
It's not the same team anymore, but it's just an era of Real Madrid that like they'll talk about 50 years like, they won everything then. But they can't seem to win the league.
Yeah.
So despite their greatness, Barcelona still, despite anything that goes wrong with them, like controversies or selling of players, they come back and they win the league.
Yeah.
Barcelona have that kind of wrapped up. So there's a lot of tension between Real Madrid and Barcelona. Usually you'd be like, if Madrid are doing well, sorry, can't hear you from up here.
Yeah,
Can't hear you from on top of the bus with our trophies, But because Barcelona have this thing holding over them, Madrid are like, those fuckers, those absolute
We're
fuckers.
way better. We're so much better run. We win the Champions League every year, but still they mouth off because they're winning the league.
So this most recent thing, I'm sure you all heard of the Barcelona referee scandal.
Yes.
But it's only for the last 3 years they can be prosecuted because of the statute of limitations, etc., etc. Barcelona obviously have to come out and deny this. You can't say,
Yep,
you got us.
it
That would
was
just be
us,
terrible, you know. So what do you say? You say it's a conspiracy.
Yeah.
They're all out to get
You
us.
point and you
Siege
point and you
mentality.
point.
And you can't point at the little guys. You got to point at the only other big guy, which is Real Madrid. And it was Laporte came out and said that they were the establishment. This is the establishment trying to keep us down. They're mad they can't win the league like us all the time. So they're trying to come up with these crazy theories that are proven.
That players and staff and the referees have all said, yes, that happened. It's on the books.
The referee is singing his little heart out, you know. So it's there. But again, you have to come up with something. You can't just say like Man City's irrefutable evidence that has yet to come out. I mean, if it's irrefutable, just bring it out. That'll be over. Just post it on Twitter, and then this whole thing will be over. You won't have to wait for the court. Just leak it, you know? But anyways, so they have this whole thing saying that it's the establishment and Real Madrid were the city or the team of the establishment. This is all them. They're all, you know. Now, in other countries, the establishment is like, you know, the deep state or whatever. It's like, you know, it means something, but like there's no real kind of,
it's not tangible,
you know, reference to it. No tangible reference point to what, you know, kind of system is or a regime is. What even is regime? Well, Spanish people know exactly what a regime is because they had a fascist regime under Franco for, you know, decades. So it's not really a word you kind of throw around. You know,
it's a big accusation.
It's a big word in Spain. You know, that you're the team of the regime because. Like I say, they're checkered past of fascist dictators, and anyways, I'm getting too historical, you know. Real Madrid obviously heard this and thought, no way, they're going to call us the team of the regime.
By the looks of it, we're waiting for this.
Yeah, this one looked like they had in their drafts, we'll say, for a long time.
Ready to hit the big red button.
They released a video on their Twitter, on their Spanish Twitter and their English Twitter, just in case people didn't quite see this, just in case it didn't go as viral as it did. I mean, I think
for the journalists, I assume.
Yeah, just so the journalists can retweet it. Let me just see. It has 4.2 million views.
Oh my god, not good for Barcelona.
This isn't even the official link that you sent me. This is this is a Real Madrid fan page, and their video has 4.2 million views. I'm not sure how much the actual video on their page has, but
an infinite amount, I assume.
It's insane. I mean, you know, the term Con 4K has kind of got out of fashion, I guess, with higher resolutions coming along. But like, this really is, you know, there's so much footage here. It begins with the unveiling of the Camp Nou in like, looks like the 1930s or 40s, I guess.
Yeah.
But like, it's in color. It's been colorized. This black and white footage has been colorized. And it shows all these like fascists and these like dozens of Catholic priests on the pitch, like blessing the like that. It was a fascist Catholic regime, the Franco regime, you know. And then you have like this like parade of wise guys. It looks like who aren't in uniform. It looks like secret police, something like that. I'm not sure what it is, you know. And then it cuts to like footage of. I got ahead of myself. It starts off with Laporte making these accusations and all this dramatic music of like like liar music. I think I probably describe it best, you know.
It's like they've if you've ever seen any true crime documentary series on Netflix, it's like they've got the main 5 minutes of it where it pitches you all of the story. Like it's like the trailer for one. It's amazing. It's so well edited also.
That's why I'm thinking it's not just when they come up with today. They're whipped up today, you know. And it shows all the history of like how many times Franco visited and how many medals he was given, and then it shows
documents.
Like, Real Madrid never won a league title under Franco. Barcelona won 7 or 8. I mean, all right, fair enough. But like,
that could be no connection.
You know, a lot of teams didn't win a lot, you know, at different times.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm not sure exactly the whole historical thing, but it's good. It's good to bring this this kind of unearthed these like historical wounds of a nation, you know, and apparently
over football.
Yeah, it's a healthy thing, I'm sure. But it was funny because then on Twitter in Spain, Franco was trending because it was all kind of people unearthing like people's histories and like, I tell you who was a Franco supporter, you're a fascist. So it's good. It's good to get this kind of stuff aired out, I think.
Yeah, it's well worth a look up and a deep dive into. It's good stuff.
Yeah, I mean the only equivalent I could think of is like if GA clubs unearthed videos of other GA clubs taking the soup, like videos of them like slurping the soup as fast as they could into their mouths, and then like doing Protestant things afterwards. Like it's like this, it's like that cod. Like, you took the soup, you're the fucking soup taker, not us. You know, it's incredible. Well worth a click. If they're looking for the clicks, you got me. You know, I've clicked on that.
Honestly, that is nonsense. Nonsense. All nonsense.
They say many garbage things.
You don't know what you're gonna get.
Melodrama upon melodrama.
This is a total
Shameful, disgraceful piece of nonsense.
See was balls off yesterday.
You'll learn a lot more if you listen rather than talk all
Plenty
the
of
time.
time, no problem.